Hi, I'm Scott Humphrey, CEO of the World Floor Covering Association, and this is Leadership Live. This week on Leadership by the Letter, we have reached the letter V, and the word is voice. I want to give you two unique definitions of voice. We're going to merge them together during our brief time together today. First, it's the sound produced in a person's larynx and uttered through the mouth as speech or as song, often the definition we would think of for voice. But the other definition that's intriguing and I think important for leaders is this: a particular attitude or opinion expressed. What is it about the voice that gives meaning to leaders? Well, here are a few things I want you to consider. First, your voice helps to establish trust. I told you in an earlier Leadership by the Letter that Dr. Albert Moravian, a professor at UCLA, did some research to determine why people trust you. He found that 7% of trust comes from words, 38% comes from music or the way you say those words, and 55% comes from the body language that accompanies it. Now, we focused on the body language because that's the majority, but it's not all. Because if I can improve someone's trust in me by 38%, I would spend some time there. What does that mean? That means if the tone of voice accompanies what is being said, then trust is established. For instance, as a leader, if I go in after the weekend to talk to my employees just to show some interest and say, hey, how was your weekend? Well, that's one thing. It's quite another if I go in, sit down and go, hey, how was your weekend? How was your time with the family? Didn't y'all go to the lake? That's a whole different tone of voice that accompanies that, and it establishes trust. Number two, your voice is unique. Now, we all know people with unique voices, right? James Earl Jones is one of those voices. Louis Armstrong, when you're smiling. Willie Nelson, to all the girls I've loved before. I used to do some impressions, and I want you to know that as unique as their voices are, your voice is just as unique. That's right, your voice has a unique sound to it, but even more than that, your voice has a unique influence to it. Your voice comes with an experience that nobody else has. Celebrate the uniqueness of your voice. Number three, understand the influence of your voice. Did you know your voice can have an impact on someone by the way they hear it? Years ago when I did sales training, I would tell people to put a mirror by their telephone, because if you'll smile into that mirror, it changes the tone of your voice. As I'm smiling now, you'll notice there's more of a vibrancy to my voice, more of a resonance to it than you get otherwise. Because the soft palate in your mouth, when you smile, raises up against your skull and becomes hard, and it forces the sound out. Even smiling can make a difference, but your influence is more than that. Your influence is when you speak up against something with your voice, or you speak up for something with your voice, or you speak up to compliment or to critique someone to make their performance better. Those are the types of influences you can have with your voice as a leader. Finally, one other that's very pertinent at this time is your vote is an expression of your voice. That's right. You have an opportunity to vote here in a few more weeks. People died and sacrificed for you to have the right to do that. I challenge you, I beg you, I implore you, use your voice to stand for where you want this country to go, for the direction that you think is pertinent. We do that at the WFCA on your behalf. In fact, that leads me to my last point. Are you aware that your voice can be amplified? That's right. So if I stand out on the street corner and I shout something, as I sometimes see people do, very rarely is that heard. But if you put 10 people on that street corner, I can assure you, as I drive by, I would pay more attention. There's a reason that even a great soloist like Celine Dion will sing her song beautifully, but on an award show, they always add a choir back behind her. Why is that? Because when multiple voices, even though they're somewhat unique, combine around the same issue or the same words and lyrics, we hear it differently. I want to challenge you to combine with the WFCA. Don't simply be a member of the WFCA. Combine your voice with ours so that we can do more to make your life more purposeful and more pointed towards success. We exist to ensure the success and profitability of professional flooring dealers and to represent the industry's common interest. With that purpose statement, you fit in somewhere. I want to challenge you to combine your voice with ours. So in recapping, use your voice to establish trust. Understand the uniqueness of your voice. Remember that you can influence others by the way you use your voice. And part of that is voting. And finally, understand the value of combining your voice with others to get things done. And then go out there. and lead.